how are the Denver Nuggets not everyone's favorite to win the title again this year? We just watched them dominate. They've got the best player in the league who should have won his third straight MVP. Jamal Murray looked amazing in the playoffs. And remember, he struggled coming back from his ACL tear to start the season. So he's going to be even better this year than he was last year. They should go back to back.
I think I think everybody's going too far overboard with how much losing Bruce Brown's going to hurt them.
I agree.
It's going to hurt them, but they make it seem like they lost Jokic. You know, it's or Murray. Like the way they're the element, like here's the honest truth. Don't nobody want to talk about Denver, Dave? We just completely ignore them. We didn't want to do it last year when they were winning and on their way to the championship. Dave, nobody wants to talk about Denver. Like, that's just the honest truth about it. And we make this whole thing. Oh, they lost Bruce Brown. They lost Jeff Green. Oh, I don't know how they'll ever recover. And it's
how many teams have listen, Jeff Green has moved around a lot. All right. So teams lose Jeff Green all the time. And he was great for Denver. But like that's not necessarily a death.
That's the aggregation right there. Teams lose Jeff Green all the time.
They lose Jeff Green all the time. I mean, but they've still got, again, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon. They're big, which we know like is important. They're athletic. They can shoot. I just they're a really good basketball team. I mean, they bring back their starting five. They've got continuity. Seth.
So first of all, speaking of continuity, we're now tipping off our 5th season together.
That's guys. Right. 5 years.
This is exciting.
Man, we're on halfway to the Fast and Furious franchise.
Never thought I'd be with working with Seth this long. Never thought I'd be with Seth this long.
What, Modern Family went 11 seasons? We could do at least that.
Yeah. So part of it is, I think part of wanting to, why isn't Denver the winner, is we have this tendency of wanting to say, well, they won the title and that's the only thing that could have happened. When I think we've been talking about most of last year, even the year before that, about how kind of open it is. And like, does any team have more than about, a 20% chance to win the title of any of this large group of teams? And I think it's the same going into this year. Should Denver be considered to have the highest probability among all the teams? You could maybe argue that, but it's still, there's no team that you're going to say is like, oh, they're 40% to win the title. They're greater, they're odds on to win the title. There's nothing like that. Obviously nothing close to the Warriors during the KD years. So, I mean, that's part of it, is there's too many teams to talk about and they kind of get lost in the shuffle of some teams made big moves and some teams come from different markets. And so we just kind of forget about them almost. We you know what we do? We pat them on the head and say, nice championship, and talk about everybody else.
Man, we've been patting this Nuggets team on the head for a while, but I mean, again, they're very good. Is part of it because we know who they are? Is the continuities? I'm not gonna say work against them, because this is about more about conversation than it is about actual on-court play. But is that it? Is it just I'm comfortable with them, I know what they're going to be?
Yeah and no. I mean, like, we didn't have a problem having those conversations with the Warriors, and I think that's kind of one of those things. I think there's an element of like, yeah, look, we know what they're going to be. I'm fascinated to see how they're going to play this season and how they're going to go about it. Are they going to go, foot on the gas pedal, go all out? Are they going to, hey, we're going to give Michael Porter Jr. a larger role and have him kind of play more on the offensive end, so to kind of take the pressure off the other guys and kind of develop that in our system and into our continuity and all of that stuff? It's like there's a lot of questions to ask about them. And yeah, they have to figure out how to replace Bruce Brown, and I think that's going to be important. Can Christian Braun do that? What are the young kids going to do? Like, there's a lot of interesting questions to talk about with Denver that I think is just kind of getting ignored. And I just think, again, it's as Seth says, pat them on the head, brush them to the side. Let's talk about the other guys.
Should we talk about the other guys? I mean, it feels like all roads to the Western Conference championship, to the finals. They're going to go through Denver one way or the other. Denver is for sure one of the top 2 teams in the West, I think, when it's all said and done.
To me, barring an injury. To me, barring an injury, right? But just to me, they're in a tier by themselves in the
Right.
West, and then it's everybody else. Like they're to me a guaranteed contender in the West.